When it comes to mysteries in video games, every franchise has its fair share. The Mario series has Hell Valley Sky Trees, mysterious ghosts and unknown UFOs. The Pokemon series has Bill's Garden and the truck near the SS Anne. And with the Zelda series having its own mysteries, it's no surprise that Breath of the Wild will have a few as well. So in today's video, we're going to look at 10 of the most mysterious ones and how they factor into the game. What's more, we've also got a guest too. Yep, to look at these mysteries, I'm being helped by Oddheader, a well-known YouTuber specialising in videos about video game secrets and mysteries.
How's it going? Thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to get into this.
And with that said, let's go.
Starting with an interesting location known as Mount Agat, and it's interesting for a multitude of reasons. Most notably, you can never get there. If you try to climb to the top of the mountain, Link merely gets told he can go no further, and a barrier pushes him away. But was this always the case? I don't think so, because despite being an unreachable location in the game, there's numerous indications the mountain was meant to be visited at one point or another. For one, it's inside the map's boundaries with a name clearly assigned to it. Neither of these things are true for any other out-of-bounds area. And it doesn't end there. Nope. Mount Agat also has collision detection too. Well, sort of. Because you see, while the top of the mountain cannot be stood on, the entirety of its sides and side ledges can, including those impossible to see via normal means. This is not normal for Breath of the Wild. In fact, every other out-of-bounds area is completely lacking in collision detection, including ones you can see from in-game. So it seems weird Mount Agat would be the exception. Perhaps there was a shrine here at one point and it was fully explorable in that said version. At this point, we'll never know. And speaking of interesting out-of-bounds content, did you know there's a bunch of inaccessible rooms you can find out of bounds as well? Yep, inside the Great Deku Tree there's a hidden room with some flowers near the top. While Hyrule Castle has an empty room behind this door that can never usually open. There's not much to see in it either, but you do wonder why they're there nonetheless. Were they meant as part of a side quest? A secret area for some rupees? A break room for some NPCs? The world may never know. Still, the Great Deku Tree's hidden room isn't the only place you'll find mysterious flowers placed out of bounds. No, you'll also find them underneath the Yiga clan hideout too. Yep, if you clip underneath the hideout and walk around, you'll come across these flowers that are usually impossible to see in the game. Was it meant to mark a boundary or an invisible object? Is it some sort of inside joke? Again, we'll likely never know.
Another interesting out-of-bounds mystery can be found in the Faron stable. If you clip through the ground nearby, then fly over this patch of water, you'll find plants underneath the map. Yep, for whatever reason, there are random bits of grass and trees found hundreds of meters beneath the ground. Based on their location, it seems likely why the developers miscalculated their coordinates when placing them and put them at Y position 0 instead of the place they're actually meant to be. Yet it's not just out-of-bounds items that are interesting here. No, places with seemingly non-existent items hold some intriguing secrets too, such as the old man's house on the Great Plateau. If you set the Sheikah Center to look for treasure chests there, it'll keep telling you about a chest nearby despite one being possible to find. So what's going on? Well, put simply, the game has 3 ways to give you the warm doublet. You can either get it by cooking for the old man, by climbing to the top of the mountain and talking to him, or by finding it in a treasure chest after finishing the Great Plateau. But the developers didn't remove the chest in the first 2 situations, they just made it impossible to reach or collect. Hence the sensor is detecting the chest would be there in a different story route, despite it not being present in the game itself.
Of course, it's not just treasure chests above the ground that Nintendo misplaced here. They also left about 5 seemingly unreachable treasure chests out of bounds too. These are either stuck in the seafloor in a way you can't dislodge, spawn under the floor, or otherwise mispositioned in a way that you can't reach them. Or at least, not without glitches. As it turns out, El Duende from the Gaming Reinvented Discord server has indeed found a way to open 4 of the 5. And is currently figuring out a way to get the last one too, so these otherwise impossible chests may not be impossible for much longer.
Despite this though, there is indeed one item that is truly impossible to collect in Breath of the Wild. One item that's so far out of bounds you could never possibly reach it. That being this shock arrow near the oasis. That's because it's been placed so high up into the sky that you hit the in-game ceiling before even getting close to it. So you can see the sensor go off as it detects it, but you're no way closer without hacks.
But out-of-bounds chests and objects do have a little bit of logic behind them. After all, they're things you can usually find scattered throughout the world, which can easily be misplaced with a simple bad coordinated placement. Yet did you know the one-hit obliterator can be found in a weird place too? Yep, for some reason one of the most important items in the DLC just falls endlessly near Vah-Ruta, and falls through the ground whenever loaded in. It acts like you've already completed the quest when you interact with it, and seemingly appears from the start of the game to boot. Yep, we have no clue why it's there either.
Finally, we have the biggest mystery in the game. Something which has baffled us for months, especially when trying to get out of bounds in the Gerudo Desert. That being the invisible network of tunnels deep beneath the sand. Yep, the sand is littered with weird invisible tunnels you can easily get stuck in with moon jump, and which often lead you back to the surface are seemingly random. And we have no idea why these exist. They're not used by Moldragos or Lizalfos, nor do they seem to be found in areas where such enemies exist. Instead, they're all over the desert in otherwise random locations. We can't do anything there are no items down there, and we can't see the collision either. They're just there, and we get stuck in them while trying to escape the map. So perhaps Breath of the Wild originally had more subterranean areas than meets the eye.
Thanks again for having me on. It was fun to learn so many things I didn't know about, and I'm excited to see what you have in store for the next one.
Thanks, Oddheader. Glad you enjoyed working on the video and that you learned so much about the many mysteries that Zelda Breath of the Wild has to offer. And we hope you in the audience did so too. It was great fun to look at these mysteries, and we hope to make another video like this with another game or series in the foreseeable future as well. Regardless, if you found the video interesting, give it a like, subscribe to our channel if you wish to see more, then leave your thoughts in the comments below on the Discord server today.